In this video we will take a look about type conversion and typecasting. And, yes, they are different. Both will at last change the type of the variable that is encountered with. Before going into that, why do we want to change it? Well, if you have some basic knowledge about the architecture of the computer, you would know that if we are implementing many things in computers, at last all the information are going to be stored in the memory only as bytes or even more deeper, we can say bits. Because that every type of variable could only hold specific amount of memory, there may arise a situation, like when a variable after being undergone many operations may run out of memory. In that case we will need these conversions and casting. However, we will see in the examples how it is done. First, let us see type conversion. In this situation the compiler itself changed the type of variable accordingly. So, here a variable of type int is multiplied by a variable of type float to yield a result of type double. This program compiles without error. The compiler considers it normal that you want to multiply numbers of different types. Well, this may not be the case always. Just take a look at the table. It tells how the program runs the code without error. So, as a result, when two operands of different types are encountered in the same expression, the lower type variable is converted to the type of the higher type variable. The int value of count is converted to type float and stored in a temporary variable before being multiplied by the float variable, average weight. The result is then converted to double so that it can be assigned to the double variable total weight. These conversions take place invisibly, and ordinarily you don't need to think too much about them. C++ automatically does what you want. However, sometimes the compiler isn't so happy about conversions. Also, when we start to use objects, we will in effect be defining our own data types. We may want to use these new data types in mixed expressions, just as we use normal variables in mixed expressions. When this is the case, we must be careful to create our own conversion routines to change objects of one type into objects of another. The compiler won't do it for us, as it is here with the built-in data types. Sometimes a programmer needs to convert a value from one type to another in a situation where the compiler will not do it automatically or without complaining. So, we have to do explicitly. Say, you want to convert an integer variable to character. Since the previous list shows that character lies below the integer, compiler does not convert automatically. There are several kinds of casts in standard C++, static casts, dynamic casts, reinterpret casts, and const casts. I will introduce you with the static casts. In this program, the value of the variable int var is so high. If we wish to multiply it further, this may give some wrong answer which I mention in 7th line. We could redefine the data type of the variable to be double and then proceed with the operation since double can store greater number than the integer variable. In the previous example, we told the compiler to save the operated data into double type variable. Since int var variable is of type int, it throws error. So, solution may be many. But what I have done here is that I have converted the int var variable into double in the 9th line and then executed the required operation. Note that the int var variable does not convert its type, only the value of the variable goes into the static cast function's arguments and it returns the multiplied value as double and it is divided by 10. At last it is stored in the int var variable which is still of type integer. The key is that if the value is stored directly into the variable after multiplying, the value will not fit into the variable int var, because at that time the value will still be not able to hold by integer variable and the compiler would have thrown error. I think that I confused you. If not, then it's okay, but if I have, then I recommend you to watch another time or just jump to some famous YouTube channels and try theirs. But if you want to ask me, then head to comment section and post your doubts.